Have you ever been afraid to face your fears? Well, I'm back with my daughter, Juliet, and she has 5 tips to help you face your fears as we share how she's facing hers right now.
Mama says namaste.
Mama says namaste.
Making a family can be easy and fun.
Oh yeah, but raising a family can be a whole different story.
From spouses to kids to the crazy daily grind, life often directs us away from connection and more into reactive chaos.
If you're tired of that cycle and are seeking something beyond the picket fence blues, this is the show for you.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Nathan.
And we're here to take you from chaos to clarity by bringing awareness and intention into your home, not waiting for one day, and highlighting how
the uniqueness in each of us strengthens all of us.
Take a deep breath in and let's start a brand new day. With Mama Says Namaste.
So I'm back again with my daughter, Jules. And Juliet, just as a reminder for those who may have not heard you on the podcast, how old are you?
I am 10 years old.
And you love being on the podcast with me, don't you?
Definitely.
I love having you on, and it's been fun having you as a guest. So we've switched back between you and your daddy pretty consistently, and it's time for another Juliet episode.
Woohoo!
So usually when we do an episode with Jules, I say, Jules, what do you want to talk about? And she says, I'll create a list. And so this one was completely Juliet's idea, and it's based on things that are going on right now.
Yes, I'm really excited because we are going to be doing a play for Matilda, and I'm going to be Lavender, Matilda's best friend. I'm going to be in pretty much every single song, and I'm going to have to learn a lot of dances and a lot of lines. And I was kind of hesitant when I first got it because I didn't know if I'd be able to do this. So what I decided to talk about today was facing your fears as I'm facing mine in being in a musical with all of my friends, and I'm going to be one of the main characters. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So a little backstory for that. We are volunteering we travel full time, and in 2021 we started picking up volunteering with the state parks, and so we are now going into a long stretch of volunteering month to month or several months at different parks. And so we're currently in Panama City Beach volunteering at one of the state parks here.
St. Andrews.
That's right. And so while we are here, we just so happen to be right next door to some dear friends of ours that we've known actually since you were in my belly, because when we first met our friends, the Sweeneys, she was pregnant with Tallulah and I was pregnant with you, and I had you, and 10 days later she had Tallulah.
Yep, and Tallulah's really into doing theater, and so I've signed up for a camp-ish in 5 days, and it's going to be really fun. We're going to be learning about singing and dancing and acting, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so my friend Tiffany reached out and said, hey, Tallulah's going to be in a camp at the end of the month. Would Juliet have any interest in joining her?
And I was like, yes.
And she, of course, said yes immediately. And then I found out this camp isn't just a basic camp. This is intense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a musical, and she had to audition in order to determine what her part is. And while this camp is great and they find parts for everybody and they're very supportive, encouraging of kids that have never done anything before, they also know their stuff, and they they are coaches where they coach kids on singing, acting, and dancing.
Yep, and they're not afraid to give constructive criticism, which is really awesome, and they're really nice, and they don't just roll with it. They let you know when you do something that's.
They help you to be your best, right?
Yes, definitely.
Right. And so so when I asked her, well, do you want to audition? I mean, it was 4 different song pieces she had to sing a little bit for. And they were, I think, the hardest pieces out of the whole musical. And you rocked it. You did it, and you didn't even bat an eye at having to do an audition. I know right there, that would have made me scared. So that's kind of the build up to this. So now she's doing the 5-day countdown until camp officially starts, but she has her whole playbook for Matilda the Musical Junior, and She's got all of her parts highlighted for lavender, and she has been practicing every day with her friend Tallulah, who is Miss Trenchbull, and and they are going to, and they've been working really hard. So they've already started the process before they even get into the camp. And then at the end of the camp on the 28th and 29th is Matilda the Musical. And yes, little shout out, if you're anywhere close to Panama City Beach, we'd love to see you there. We'd love to have a big audience for sure. Okay, so with that build up as to what fears you're facing and what new things you're doing, because you've never experienced theater before.
No.
This is a whole new deal for you, and you already have blown me away with what you have learned from Tallulah on singing. And she has a brilliant coach herself, clearly, because the way she has been able to teach Juliet and how they have worked together has just really been amazing to see. And their dedication and Tallulah has taken notes to give Juliet feedback on what things to work on. And I have seen Jules go from having no idea how to do a musical to really grasping how you perform and sing on stage.
Definitely, yeah. So, number 1 in our list of what do you do when you want to face your fears is going to be believe in yourself first. You have to believe that you can do it, because if you're just relying on someone else to believe in you, it's just that just doesn't work. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe that you can do what you're aiming to do. Sometimes
when you're in the height of your fear, it's really hard to simply look at somebody else for affirmation. You're doing the thing, so you need to be as fully focused as possible. That's inward strength, not outward strength, because
Definitely.
it's a lot harder for you to remember your lines and be looking at whether I'm nodding in approval and supporting you with a thumbs up in the background, right?
Yeah.
You didn't need that. You had to. I mean, I think you even messed up on one of the auditions.
Yeah.
And what did you do when that happened?
I just kept going, and then I stopped at the end, and I took a deep breath, and I did it again.
There you go. So you took a deep breath and then reset, right?
And keep going even when you mess up, because when you stop, you're just making a fool of yourself even more.
Very true. Okay, so number 1 is believe in yourself. I love that.
Yep.
All right, what's number 2?
Learn about things you're scared of. Because if, let's just say I was scared of snakes, but I didn't know much about snakes, if I researched them, maybe I wouldn't be as scared.
And that might be a very relevant example, with your herpetologist sister, isn't it?
Definitely, yes.
Yes, and that's what as we're doing this, Clara has been working hard in the background, redoing her website and talking about snakes and educating people on snakes. And that's really the big thing, is that it's a lot easier to be scared of what you don't know. But the more you educate yourself on things, the less scary it can be.
You can find some cool facts and some fun activities you can do about snakes.
Right. So the more you educate yourself, the more you can come with confidence. A lot of times our fears are in the unknown. And so if you are facing a fear, educate yourself first. I mean, and go all the way through, what's the worst that could happen? What's the best that could happen? And face it, walk it all the way through, what's the worst that could happen? I could fall on my face. Okay. And then I stand back up and life still goes on. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's not that bad.
Maybe falling is not my worst fear.
Right.
And then number 3 is assess. What is that end goal that you're looking at? Assess if that's something that will bring you to life once you figure it out, or if that's something that just draws you away from it and it's something that really drains you and it's not something you want to pursue, but you're doing it even though you're scared of it.
Oh, that's a really good one, Juliet.
So,
and I can give you an example of this. The whole family loves to be in the water, and I was not the most comfortable in the water, and I've gotten myself a little bit more comfortable with it, and I'm tolerating the free diving that the family does and all of this. Well, they started looking into doing scuba diving, and so they all did kind of a scuba intro class, and I talked then about how, okay, I'm going to face my fear and I'm going to go in and I'm going to learn how to scuba dive. And I sat with that for over a year. We come back and I start looking at, okay, do I really want to do this? And the more I thought about it, it did not sit right in my gut. The more I assessed it, I realized that I was forcing something that the end goal, I wasn't motivated by. I'm not motivated, even if I had figured it all out, to be crawling on the bottom of the ocean with scuba gear on. So yeah, it made me really stop and assess: do I need to force this, or is this something where it's a fear that? I mean, I'm not going to have nightmares about the ocean. I'm not upset about it. I just have decided that maybe is not the best thing for me to push forward in.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, and I know this one feeds into the next one you have laid out, doesn't it?
Yes. So like what we were talking about here, she was talking about like it drained her, and she was listening to her gut, and that goes into question 4. Take action or listen to your gut. If it doesn't sit right, if it just makes you
more nerves than anything else.
If there's not an end goal that's going to be better than the fight that you're doing and the work that you're putting into it, then listen to your gut and find another Z.
That's right, another Z. And you referenced in the last episode we did together, which was jumping from A to Z, and is a great one to go back and reference for this one as well. I'll link to it in the blog post. Okay, now with that, though, I want to ask you, so did you assess your fear? I mean, what is your motivator for going through with, you faced your fear and you performed and did the audition. And now you are working hard to now face a new unknown of being in front of
like 300 people.
Performing in front of people. So why are you motivated? What's your motivator then?
I find the motivation in one thing, finding friends and finding community, which is something that's hard to do when you're on the road, and this has been a really good experience for me to be able to do this. And I also find my end goal of being in a performance and being in a play, and I find a lot of joy in that, and I find a lot of wonder, and I'm very curious about it. And I am so excited to jump into that and figure out how much I enjoy that, because right now it sounds like a really fun theater, and I'm excited because I've gone through the fear of auditions and the fear of being turned down, but I believe in myself and I have trust in my gut, and my gut says you're gonna do this because you're gonna have so much fun. Yeah. And that's pretty much why, because I know that even though it was hard for me to get up there and sing in front of a whole bunch of other people, I did it and I felt great, and I don't know why I even doubted myself now, and I'm excited to move forward with that until I get to my end goal.
That's awesome. That's right. And you're learning so much along the way. You already have learned so much about singing. And I know the dancing and the acting you're going to be diving into full force this week and next week as you start. I think we need to check for your dance videos for you to start practicing. So, yes. Okay, so what's the next one? What number are we on?
Number 5.
Number
this is
5.
Our last one.
All right.
And if you have any other questions that you'd like to add, Mommy, then that's totally appreciated. So it says, if you have done the last 4 things and you are still scared, face your fears. You got this, and get out there and perform and get out of your comfort zone. Because if you have assessed, if you have seen that this is the right thing for you, this is something that's going to move you forward, don't put a date on it. Don't leave it in the background for okay, I'll do it, but I've got this and this, and just put it into your schedule. Understand it so you can get that, so you can practice it, so you can rehearse those lines, so you can get to that Z, to that end goal, to that accomplishment.
That's right. I love it. We definitely want to look at facing our fears, not forcing our fears, but facing them. And I think you've done a great job of laying that out. So we've got believing in yourself, having the confidence from within that you can do this and you will survive it.
Not looking for someone else to believe in you.
Right. And number 2, you are going to learn about the things you're scared of, because the more you know, the less scary it can be. Number 3, you're going to really assess where you're going with it and what your goal is. Why are you going through with this fear?
Number 4, you're going to take action or listen to your gut. If you don't feel comfortable about it, don't do it.
Right. Look for something else to stretch you. We want to challenge you to stretch yourself. But that doesn't mean that you have to tackle every fear that you have, or that you have to go deep into all these areas that are of no interest to you. Really determine whether this fits where you're headed and where you want to go. And then number 5, put a date on it. That's right. Make it happen, and go ahead and set a deadline and work your way up to it. And we'll reference again, going back to that A to Z. Look at those little baby steps to build up to it. Juliet has started focusing just on singing. We know dancing and acting is going to be a part of it, but she's been working on her voice and doing that so that she can then carry that when she's moving her body and acting and everything, and she already knows how to carry the voice.
So I can think about the things that are challenging me, and that can be in your situation too. Let's just say water. You can focus on the things that are challenging you, the things that, like swimming. You can focus on those so that when you're trying to regulate your breath, you can fully focus on regulating your breath, and you don't have to think about
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to do the basic steps first, and you build up, and each time you do that, then that's one less thing you have to think about because you have that confidence. I love your list, Juliet. I am excited for you to be in Matilda Jr. I think it's going to be a wonderful performance because I already see so much encouragement and positivity around it, and a true desire to help all of you kids in this performance thrive. And I know it's going to be a great experience. Again, if you're around Panama City and you want to join, I will have a link for how to sign up to go to the musical in the blog. And with that, we celebrate you. Face your fears. Put a date on it. Learn about it and get some confidence, because you are a beautiful soul in this world, and we need what you have to offer. And the more we can celebrate all of those things that make us unique, the more we can remember how the uniqueness in each of us strengthens all of us. Namaste.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Up with the rising sun, already on the run. Mama says namaste. Life is a tangled mess, and you don't have to stress. Mama says namaste. 'Cause today I will stand up and be all the change that I want to see in this world. Boys and girls, you gotta have to stand up to be free. Namaste in your home. Take a deep breath in, then let's start a brand new day. With Mama says namaste.